Because I didn't want it to be too dark. There we go. Oh, that's great. Because it should be dark in the background, you guys. It should be dark here where the middle ground meets the foreground. Okay, that's why we added the green and then the white. Okay, perfect. Now, once you're happy with your color, you're going to get your brown. If you've got different shades of brown, I only have one. Well, hang on a second. If you've got different shades, you can get those. Yeah, I think I do. Okay, I have two. So I'm just gonna dab a little bit down in Shamrock City. Okay. Much too pretty. There we go. So different browns. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit because I love it. Living on the edge of the Shamrock City. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Living on the edge of the Shamrock City. So, I actually saw these guys in concert when I was in Newfoundland. They're called the Irish Descendants. And the reason why they're called the Irish Descendants, they're a group in Newfoundland. Oh, I can't see, but somebody's microphone's not muted.
That's me, sorry.
Okay. So the reason why they're called the Irish Descendants is because they descend from Ireland. So Newfoundland, a lot of the people that the first peoples that lived in Newfoundland, aside from the native peoples, they're called the Beothuk natives. Aside from them, the Europeans came over mainly from Great Britain and Ireland and Scotland. Hang on, I'm going to add a little bit of white to this. So just like that. So a lot of the people that are in Newfoundland and the East Coast to this day have come from Great Britain and Scotland and Ireland, like my grandparents, my mom's parents. And my mom, she has 7 sisters and 3 brothers. You might be thinking, holy moly. But you know what? It makes for a really fun family surrounded by love. And I remember going I've been to Newfoundland a bunch of times, and we went to see the Irish Descendants. I was in university, and I went to visit, and they were phenomenal. And this is such a great group. So this is who we're listening to right now. This is called Shamrock City. Shamrock City, one of my favorites. And Newfoundland, a little fun fact, Newfoundland was the last province to join Confederation. And they joined in, if memory serves me, they joined in 1949. 49.
I think about there, yeah.
Yeah, 1949. Let me Google it. Yes, 1949. So, so anyway, so they were the last province to join Confederation. They were the 10th province. Oh, I love this one too. But before, remember last week I talked about when I was in Huronia, which was near Penetanquishene at the cottage, and I talked about the Iroquois and the Huron people and how they were pretty much destroyed by diseases and by the weapons of the European. Same thing in Newfoundland, except for it was the Vikings. It was Vikings that kind of took over. And the peoples in Newfoundland were called the Beothuk. Aboriginal peoples. Then when the Vikings left, the British came over and they colonized them, and same thing happened. They're not used to all of these diseases, just like how just like how we're not used to this strand of COVID, and that's why we're in quarantine right now. just to be on the safe side. But the Beothics, they just kind of stayed to themselves, and they just lived off the land, and they were very peaceful and very loving. And then the Europeans came over, and they wanted more land. They wanted to expand, and they wanted to, just kind of set up a new communities all over. So they weren't nice at all to these Beothic peoples, and they basically, they brought weapons with them, but along with the weapons, again, diseases. They brought diseases, and the Beothics, their bodies weren't immune to all of these diseases. Whereas the Europeans, their bodies were immune because they were used to catching things in the big city and stuff like that. But the Beothics, they were just minding their own business, fishing and hunting and living off the land and getting along with one another. And all of a sudden, the entire Beothic population were completely wiped out, which is very sad. Now, if you ever go to Newfoundland, I can't remember where the museum is. There's a big, huge museum, and they commemorate the Beothic peoples, which is it's good that they have created this because it's a part of our history, and it's important that we recognize that. Okay, moving forward, my friends, it's time. I talked a little bit because I wanted this to kind of dry. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to get my medium paintbrush. Okay, and I'm going to be wiping it off. Actually, I'm going to change the water because this is getting a little bit murky. We don't want murky, do we?
Don't want murky water.
No. Okay. Now it's time to, you're going to just kind of make your outline so you can kind of see. Remember, the base is going to start right where the sand is. Okay, I can kind of see it, so I'm just going to kind of go like this for my outline. Okay, I'm going to stop maybe about here because this part's going to be black. So if that's confusing, you can just wait and see what Mrs. Anstey is doing, and then you can continue. You're just going to fill all of this in. But guys, the bottom part is black. Just take a look at Mrs. Anstey's painting. Okay? So don't go white all the way to the bottom because there's going to be a little bit of part that's going to be black. And if you do, don't worry about it, then it's going to be gray. No big deal. Not everybody's lighthouse is going to be the same. Okay, I think I have enough white. If you don't, then you can just kind of go in and just... So here's my... If you want to get a thinner one, that's fine. See, this is my watercolor. It's nice and thick. Okay. And again, if this isn't dry, don't go over it then, because then it's going to start mixing with the other colors. Mine's dry, so I'm able to do that. Okay. I'm going to get one of my thinner brushes. I'm going to add a little bit more white. Well, I'll do the thinner brush for the outline. You could just really squeeze it on. Only if your background is dry, though. Okay. There we go. One thing I love about Newfoundland, when I used to go to Newfoundland, and I've been to the PEI and New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, is the seafood. Lobster.
Yummy. Yummy.
Do you love lobster, Miss Armstrong?
I sure do. Mm-hmm.
Now, so Mrs. Anstey, I learned from my mom, and I remember when I was little, I would look at my mom eat lobster, and she would eat even the inside, like the guts. I remember thinking, oh, that's yuck, right? But guess what? Guess what Mrs. Anstey eats now?
You do?
I do. I love the guts. I know. I know. I look forward to it. And you know what? If I'm out at, like, if a friend is having, a lobster dinner, and I'll ask other people if I could have the bodies.
For theirs? Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Uh-huh. And you know what? People look at me like I'm crazy, but I love it. And you know what? Too bad. People just kind of get a kick.
You enjoy.
People get a kick out of me just going to town on the inside of the lobster. And and it's quite comical, right? Okay.
For you.
Yeah. Okay, so now here's the black part. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of black on here. Some of you might be able to see your outline, but if you don't worry about it. Okay, so now I'm going to just blend the black in. And I love crab legs. I love mussels. Oh, I love mussels. Not the muscles on your body. It's a different spelling, my friends. But it's they are just so delicious. I love oysters. I love anything to do with seafood. But one thing that I don't really care for, and they're called scallops.
Oh, those little pillowies.
Yes, I don't know. The texture just doesn't really.
No?
I don't know. I don't know.
Not
I can't.
too fussy.
No, I don't know. But you know what? I'll eat them. I just wouldn't order them. That's all. But everybody has their own taste, right?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, so there's the bottom part of the lighthouse, and you might be thinking, well, where's the top part? Here we go. I'm gonna get my little skinny paintbrush right here. Okay. And I'm going to maybe just kind of put a little bit, or you can even, I did this yesterday. Just kind of, sorry, I just did this. And then I just kind of drew it on. If you have a Sharpie, that would even work too, but when I'm doing painting, I just prefer to actually do it this way. There we go. And then I'm just going to put, this is where they do the kind of like the lookout. And then if it's a little bit messy, you can just kind of go in and you clean it up a little bit. And there we go. Oh, you know what? We already heard this song. Let's see. Okay. Oh, this one. I meant to add some things to it. There's a really beautiful song in the movie Braveheart, and it's what I walked down to the aisle with, and it was lovely, and it's all instrumental. It's that part in Braveheart where they get married, and it's so lovely. Let me see if I can find it while you guys are catching up. Now, there's no rule to how many bars that you're going to add. Here, I only added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this one. Here, I added a little bit more, and that's okay. They're not that symmetrical, but that's okay. I'll get over it. So, okay. All right, so now the top part is red. So if you want to use the leftover black to kind of fix any areas down here, you can do that. Okay. We're almost done, believe it or not. Okay. So now we just have the red to do. There's different reds, so you really want to be careful. So you want to kind of test them out. This is a crimson. This is a vermilion. The vermilion's kind of like an orangey red. Oh, I'm going to use that. It's kind of a really bright one. The vermilion's kind of like a dark, which is what I used here. But I'm going to switch it up a little bit, okay? So I'm just going to kind of just do a little, oh, look how nice that looks. There we go. I'm going to put the cap on it because the watercolors just tend to... If I had more time, I probably would have done this white and then